outside as well.
Chris has arrived.
Come huddle, everyone. He is here.
Hey, Pete, right?
Yes.
Oh my God, I didn't see you.
I know, right? I
the
was
heck
kind of
you doing,
recording.
man?
I was trying to get like a... Good, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
Yeah, I was really hoping you'd show up
Place
today.
is high. This place is looking great.
It is. It's nice
You
and
know?
trimmed now, ain't it?
All right, give me a hug.
How are you, dear? How are the kitty cats?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. They're fantastic.
I drove past and it's like right here, and I'm like, how do I get in here? And then I saw people walking. I'm like, okay, I think I can figure this out now.
So what was your plan today besides
Well, nothing.
having a
Just
whole,
come out here.
whole town
I
showing up?
didn't expect this many people come.
I did.
The Forest Preserve called me, or they sent me a message saying you can't do this. You have to have this. You get permits and everything.
No, you don't.
I talked to her. She was so nice, man. Isabella or something.
Yeah, okay.
She was so nice. We chatted for like about a half hour.
They tried to tell you needed a permit.
They said you need a permit because you're doing an event, this and that.
It's not a real event. You're just showing up today.
Exactly.
You're just an average dude just showing
That's
up
what I
today.
told her. She says, okay, no problem. Wow. My name's Chris Fleming. It's my buddy John, by the way.
Hey everybody, I'm
Everybody
John.
You guys seen that IPRA? They do a lot of ghost hunts around Chicago. They do all the videos. We did an investigation at King of Cups in Chicago a couple months ago.
Oh, I saw that.
And we just posted it. And it's pretty cool with what happened with the crown and everything else.
Yeah, that was crazy.
But, and I want to introduce this guy here, Pete. He knows a lot about Bachelors Grove, and he's got a website, and he's done a lot to make sure that this place is taken care of over the years. And forgive me if I forgot some of the things that you've done, but it's been a long time since I've seen you.
I'm just glad everybody's here and everybody's not being hounded by the cops.
Right, right.
They
Yeah, I got an
And they
email
said
that
they gave the
said,
thumbs up when they drove away.
yeah, I got an email saying that I couldn't do this and I had to get a permit and everything else. I said, well, what do you mean? He said, well, you're doing an event. I said, actually, I'm just inviting people.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a gathering.
If you care to join.
And actually, they were really nice. They just said, make sure you don't leave any garbage or anything like that because they put so much time and effort to taking care of this place. And I know he has too as well. You had a lot to do with bringing this thing back to its life, right?
A little bit.
Yeah. This cemetery used to be in disarray. I mean, people come in here and they'd vandal, they'd knock stuff over. And this place goes back to, what is it, 1832?
Yeah,
Something like
1830s.
that? 1830s. And they buried some people that died when they were building something, right? Is that what happened
No,
first?
a lot of misinformation.
Okay.
The original burial was some dude that lived down on the corner, died. They needed to
really?
find a place to bury him.
So they buried him here?
Yeah, that's how it started.
And then it started. Everybody else wanted to be buried here. Yeah, because Chuck's here. Let's go get buried here. But the reason why I like this place is because I used to come here a lot in the 90s. And there's various different ghost groups in Chicago that we would come here and we'd investigate. And we'd have amazing EVPs that we would capture. People would come here through the night. And you're not supposed to be here at late night. So sometimes we got chased out by the police. And it was kind of that rush. Like, run, here they come. They'd be with the flashlights. I wouldn't recommend that, okay? All right? Because there's some hefty fines now. But we had, one of the experiences we had, and they talk about this, is we had this ball of light that came like from behind the tree and started floating. We're like, what is that? We thought maybe it was a balloon or something else. And then the thing sped up and then it just took off behind a tree. And I know one of the guys, Michael, I forgot his last name, took a picture of it and captured it. Another time it was probably around 5:36. The sun was just starting to come down. I was standing over there and these kids walk in. I said, oh, what are you guys doing? They said, hey, you catch any ghosts yet? I said, well, we actually just got here. We're going to get started. And then all of a sudden, this bar of light appeared, probably about this long, about 10 feet off the ground, manifested right in between those trees. I see it, and the other kids see it, and we're like, what the hell is that? I go, I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. Usually you'll see vaporous mist, you'll see orbs, you'll see manifestations of torsos, not a bar of light, okay? Then that lasted for about 10 seconds, and it disappeared. Some of the investigators I've worked with over the years have seen, they talk about the house that's over there, that house that appears and it disappears. I know one person that brought that story up. But then another friend of mine that would come here all the time said he's never coming back here alone again. And I said, why? He was over here doing some EVPs and all of a sudden he saw two people walking up that were in robes. Well, they have certain stories or legends of people worshiping, right? Is there any truth to that with the satanic cults?
Barely any.
Barely any, okay.
Yeah.
So there was rumors going around about people being in, doing satanic rituals and stuff like that. And I know Mancow talked about that a lot. It was probably made
he
up.
overblown that.
He overblown it, right. Well, he tells me, my friend tells me this, Chris, there was two people that came up, a guy and a girl, young. They were teenagers. They were dressed in all black in like robes. And they said, hey, do you want to see the other haunted cemetery. It's back here in the woods. We'll show it to you. He's like, yeah, sure, let me get my stuff. So he gets his stuff, and as they're starting to walk away, he says they slowly start to disappear in these woods, and he doesn't see them anymore, and he took off. Because he says, Chris, they didn't seem normal. They seemed very, just like this, and like, hey, come with us and come look in the forest, and we'll show you. So he says, that's just not normal. When you're here late at night, you really want to go with somebody like that? No. So when he told me that, he says, never go to this place alone. Of course, that would have been 98, 99 that happened. The other last story that I'll tell is, it was a radio station called The Bus, and we came here at midnight. It was an entire radio station. We had about 12 people. We did a Ouija board session over here, and we recorded it. And on the recording, we got all these EVPs that were responding to the questions before the board started to move. Well, when we were done, we decided to leave. One of the guys who was the sound tech, the sound manager for the radio station, was skeptical. He's like, oh, this is all bullshit, this and that. And he goes, hang on, I forgot something. He comes back here, grabs his bag. He's walking back, he's carrying his flashlight like this. And he's the last one. He says something grabbed his hand, ripped the flashlight out of his hand. He turns around, sees the flashlight going in the air, spinning, and land, I don't know, I can't remember, 10, 20 feet behind him. He took off running. And I said, okay. He says, what do you think? I said, something grabbed my hand, Chris. I can't say it was a ghost, but I didn't see anybody else there. I said, what were you thinking when you were walking out? I said, there's no ghost here. It's freaking bullshit. Because if there was a ghost, they would have done something by now, and then my hand got grabbed. So when you have something like that happen with a skeptic, and I'm sitting there.
That's kind of common.
Yeah.
People getting
Tell some stories.
No, I don't have hours to spend.
Okay, no, just tell a story or two, please.
No, I mean, well, the EVP, like you're talking about being grabbed, we had two guys doing EVP down by the Fulton Stone, and or one guy was doing EVP, one had like an old-fashioned recorder, and his bag was moving on his shoulder. He thought it was caught on something, but it wasn't, and his buddy's watching his bag moving up and down, and he with the audio recorder, he goes, are you the one who just scared my friend Doug? When he played it back, it was so freaking loud. I said, yes. It was creepy, but it was awesome, right? So
yeah.
There's tons of stuff like that.
I miss the night times being here.
I know. There was a recording you had. You went into a cold spot and you heard all the static.
Yeah.
Where was that spot?
Oh, that was over here. It would have been right over.
I've been dying to know.
This area here. We started getting all this static, and then there was a voice that said William.
That was part of that.
William.
Yeah. Did you want to?
Yeah.
Sure. That's up to you. Sure. But you can, in the record, you hit this red button up here. But if you want to record on the way out, that's fine.
What is it? Where's the red button? And there was another one over by that tombstone where you said the person was sitting. I got the EVP. This is Bachelors Grove Cemetery.
Yeah, it's pretty clear.
It just drowns out with this long cemetery. Now, I left my recorder there while we walked around, because back in those days, we'd leave recorders, and we'd let them go for an hour or two,
you
or
don't have
whatever.
to worry
right?
about it.
Today, we just do the bursts. Okay, we're going to try a spirit box session as well. And we're going to do, I brought up the SLS camera too, and I'm going to see if I can get that going. Now, you know that, right? Okay, cool. What I like to do too is I like to just sit here and listen to the place for activity. Now, there's a thing called the ether, all right? Tesla talked about it, not the guy that makes the cars today, but the original scientist and engineer, and he talked about the ether, and so did Einstein, and I know the military had done tests on it based on an experiment in the last 1880s, that the ether doesn't have a drag. That it exists, but it doesn't have any type of drag. That ether is what we use today with electromagnetic fields, where we send cell phone signals, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all that. It uses this ether that's there. Well, the theory is, and it goes back to what Tesla said, was he was hearing voices through this ether. Okay, and he was hearing voices when he used his Tesla coils. It would amplify, completely amplify the ether. It would absorb it and magnify it to such a point of amplitude that he would hear these people talking. That's before radio, before any broadcasts, okay? So the theory I have with some other investigators is that our thoughts are being projected into the ether. Everybody that's living, their thoughts are being put into the environment. So are spirits. So when spirits are communicating, they're communicating through this matrix system, through this ether. It's being traveled from one place to the next using their energy. So the thing is, it's like what a lot of mediums and psychics will do. Some are aware of this, some aren't. They look at just a higher sense of consciousness. Is we are sensitive to the ether. So when there's changes or movements within that grid system, we can detect it. Like, wow, there's a movement over there. It's being affected. That signal's being sent to us because we're all connected to it. Okay? So what I like to do is I like to listen to that. Like right now, I'm getting a sense of a little girl. Okay, whether it's residual or whether she's there now, I'm getting a little girl that's over there. And so we'll see if we get any children that talk to us. What do I want to do next? And I'm going to have you guys ask some questions too when I start using these devices. Who wants to volunteer for the EVP right now? Who wants to? The man with the hat. I saw you first. Come on over here. Let's ask a question. What's your name? Bob. Okay. Who's here with us right now? What year is it? Who's here with us right now? I think that was someone talking, or... Right before I start speaking. It says like time or something? Who's here with us right now? What year is it? What year is it? 70? Could be news too. Yeah, let's go ahead. You play that back. Because you got the response like I got. Play for him. That's definitely a response. No, it's
cleaner.
Yeah. Say don't?
No.
What are you hearing?
That's something.
Sounds like it says no.
Whatever it is, sounds vocalized.
It doesn't want to know.
That's weird. Yeah, it's different than the other one.
Just so you know, this recorder, they stopped making because so many people were getting voices on it, and now this thing sells for like $2,500, $3,500.
Okay, so this EVP recording, it was done on a Panasonic, was it the double D or double R? Now I can't remember. I'll cut it in with a description here, a text. How's that sound? It's a pretty famous little recorder because people think that they're getting all these fabulous EVPs from it. I've never had one. It intrigued me when I heard about it, but the prices out there are ridiculous. However, what had occurred yesterday got me a little bit more interested in this recorder, not for the sake of capturing EVP, but for the sake of investigating the actual recorder itself, because at the time of hearing it, I heard something in the 2-3 kilohertz range, and maybe it was vocalization or something like that. But after going back and listening to it on my mic that I'm using right now, how I kind of recorded it from them off their device, so to speak, I heard something that sounded familiar. I heard digital artifacting, digital interference of some kind, and what I'm used to in codecs. I'm getting a little technical here, but some of these codecs that are on microchips, integrated circuits. And I'm like, huh. And I looked at some of the waveforms, and something just didn't look right. And now I don't have the original recording, but based on what I had available, something just wasn't looking right. So I actually was able to obtain some schematics of the inside of this recorder. And lo and behold, the analog mic is attached directly to a codec chip. Now I think it's not necessarily the codec, but the onboard proprietary Panasonic digital signal processor chip. I think maybe somebody wrote some bad code. I don't know. I can't be sure. I mean, there are some variables to it. I shouldn't even bother getting into it right now, right? It'd be kind of boring. But I think there's technical issues with this recorder. And sure enough, there were lots of people online talking about the technical stuff. Even Chris kind of brought it up. He said, yeah, the company discontinued this recorder. He made a comment that they were, because it was producing too many good ghost voices or something. But come on, Chris. No, I think they discontinued the recorder because it was a faulty recorder. And at lower volumes, it can produce artifacts. And if you look at the codec and blah, blah, blah of this, like, oh my God, look at this. It's producing this kind of artifact. That's probably what it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to patch in here or plug in on this video what was recorded on the mic that I'm using right now, what was recorded on the mic of the actual video that I was using. That shows the guy holding the recorder the whole time. He never moved it, never, no hand noise or anything like that. So you get a shot of that. I'll zoom in. I'm sure there's tons of people that were there that day that could submit their videos or whatnot, and they'll come up with a lot of similar things. So I tried to line it up as best I could with each track to kind of synchronize them, and I'll go through each one in an audio editor, and then, I guess, hey, decide for yourself, but I don't think it's EVP related. I think it's just a faulty recorder. And it's a risky, excuse me, it's a risky kind of recorder, I think, to use at this point, if that's the case. So, as popular as they are, I don't know, man. That's not something I would want to trust in the field. So, unless you're getting actual voices, but this was noise. This was just straight up noise, coming from circuitry, from what I'm familiar with. It sure as hell sounded like circuitry, and it looked like circuitry.
What year is it? What year is it?
What year is it? What year is it? What year is it? What year is it? What year is it?
What year is it?
Okay, I'm gonna keep her name private unless she wants to give it out. But she now cleans up here at the cemetery.
So please dispose of your trash in a garbage bin.
Yes.
It is a forest preserve after all.
Yes, she's a volunteer with the Forest Preserves, technically. So she's kind of taken over the responsibility, which most people, the public, it's a public effort. But I really appreciate your help out here, seriously.
I know. I think it's mostly kids out here partying. This
Yeah,
thing.
what do they got here?
A lot of beer bottles.
A lot of beer.
A lot of beer and booze.
Bada beer, bada boom.
Little foil smoky things. So.
Yeah. So that's the end of Chris Fleming's visit today. You got to see the wonderful lady who comes out to clean Bachelors Grove Cemetery.